What if success and personal growth weren't just lucky breaks or fleeting moments of motivation, but the natural outcome of habits you build each day? Imagine developing a rhythm so grounded in positive practices that success becomes second nature. This book, Positive Pulse, explores exactly that. How small, intentional habits can lead to transformative growth and lasting success. Here you'll find practical guidance, motivational insights, and hands-on exercises to help you cultivate and sustain habits that foster resilience, clarity, and personal achievement. In these pages, we'll walk through a journey of progressive change, beginning with foundational habits and building toward a mindset that thrives on growth and success. Each chapter will equip you with tools to apply what you're learning in real time, helping you transform ambition into action and dreams into daily habits. Let's dive in and start shaping the life you've envisioned, one habit at a time. Chapter 1: Starting Strong. Building a foundation of positive habits. Every journey toward growth and success begins with a single step, a decision to do things differently. At the core of this transformation are the habits we choose to develop. Habits are the quiet engines driving most of our daily actions. They help us function on autopilot for things as simple as brushing our teeth or as impactful as managing our time well. By creating positive habits, we set ourselves up to naturally steer toward growth, resilience, and success, almost without thinking. But how do we choose the right habits? And more importantly, how do we make them stick? At the heart of a successful habit lies purpose. When you begin to form a habit around something meaningful to you, whether it's learning, health, or professional growth, your sense of purpose will naturally motivate you to stay consistent. Take Sarah, for example, a young professional who wanted to improve her career trajectory. She knew that developing strong communication skills could make a significant difference, so she set a goal to read for 20 minutes each day on leadership and communication. Initially, it felt challenging to find the time. However, because Sarah was motivated by her desire to grow professionally, she stayed committed, reading every morning before work. In a matter of weeks, this new habit started feeling like part of her daily routine. Not only did she see improvement in her skills, but the consistency itself became something she enjoyed and looked forward to. As this example shows, when the purpose behind a habit aligns with your goals, it transforms from an obligation to an enjoyable part of your life. Purposeful habits don't feel burdensome because they serve a deeper need. They become something you actually want to do because they feed your dreams and ambitions. Unlike random resolutions, which often fade with time, purpose-driven habits have staying power. They stay with you as you move forward. Another important piece of building positive habits is simplicity. We often set out with big goals and equally big plans, only to find ourselves overwhelmed and losing momentum. The truth is that starting small is a secret superpower in the world of habit building. The human brain loves simplicity and consistency. When habits are simple, they become easier to maintain over time. For instance, if you want to become more physically active, committing to a small, manageable goal like a 10-minute daily walk will serve you better than an hour-long workout that you dread and may eventually skip. With a small commitment, you build trust with yourself, proving that you can stick to your goals. This consistency lays the groundwork for more ambitious habits in the future, reinforcing the idea that every small action matters. Consider James, a man who struggled to find time for exercise. Rather than trying to jump straight into an intense workout regimen, he chose to walk every evening for just 10 minutes. After a couple of weeks, this brief exercise felt natural and effortless. As he became accustomed to the routine, he gradually added a few more minutes to his walk, then some light stretches, and eventually worked his way up to a full 30-minute workout. By starting small and celebrating each little success, James built a solid habit without feeling overwhelmed. This process taught him that consistency was more important than intensity in the beginning, a principle that can be applied to any new habit. Another key to building foundational habits is understanding the power of environment. Your environment can either support or undermine your new habit. Think of your surroundings as the scaffolding that helps shape your behaviors. If your environment aligns with your goals, it becomes easier to stay on track. For example, if you want to read more, place a book on your nightstand, or set up a cozy reading nook in your home. When you make your environment habit-friendly, you reduce the resistance between intention and action. Let's look at Rachel, a woman who wanted to eat healthier. She found it challenging to resist the temptation of junk food when it was readily available in her kitchen. Recognizing this, Rachel made small changes to her environment. She filled her pantry with healthier snacks and started meal prepping on Sundays to have nutritious meals ready for the week. By adjusting her surroundings, she created an environment that aligned with her goal of eating well. This subtle shift helped her stay consistent because she no longer relied solely on willpower. Her environment became an ally, supporting her every day without her even realizing it. Lastly, the process of reinforcing a habit is deeply connected to your ability to visualize progress. Tracking your progress is an empowering tool for building habits, as it allows you to see tangible evidence of your commitment. When you track your habit, you bring awareness to your actions, creating a feedback loop that keeps you motivated. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. A simple calendar where you mark each day you complete your habit can work wonders. Seeing those marks build up over time will give you a sense of accomplishment and reinforce the belief that you're capable of staying on track. Now that we've explored the fundamentals of starting strong with purposeful, simple, and supported habits, take a moment to reflect on one positive habit you'd like to build. It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest step can create momentum. What habit could help you move closer to your goals, and what simple action can you start with today? To anchor this habit, find a way to track your progress, adjust your environment, and most importantly, remind yourself why this habit matters to you. Positive change isn't about instant results. It's about building the foundation for a life that moves steadily toward growth and success. Reflective question: what is one small, meaningful habit you can start today to support your goals, and how can you make it easy to incorporate into your daily routine? Chapter 2. Motivation that lasts, fueling the habit of growth. Why is it so hard to stick to our goals, even when we're passionate about them? Motivation is often seen as the fuel for success, but it can feel frustratingly fleeting. Many of us start strong, filled with enthusiasm and energy, only to see that spark fade over time. But what if motivation didn't have to come and go? What if it could be something we cultivate and sustain, creating a habit of growth that lasts? This chapter is about transforming motivation from a temporary boost into a reliable force that drives us toward our goals, even on the days when it feels challenging. The key to lasting motivation lies in understanding the difference between external and internal motivation. External motivation comes from rewards or pressures outside ourselves. Things like praise, financial incentives, or even the fear of missing out. While these can be powerful in the short term, they often lose their impact over time because they don't connect with our personal values. Internal motivation, on the other hand, is fueled by our inner desires, values, and sense of purpose. When you're internally motivated, the journey itself becomes meaningful, not just the end result. For example, consider someone who wants to become physically fit. If they're driven solely by the desire to look good for a specific event, that motivation might wear off once the event has passed. But if their motivation is grounded in wanting to feel healthier and more energetic, their commitment is likely to last much longer, as it aligns with a deeper purpose. To make motivation last, it's crucial to understand and connect with our why. Knowing why we're pursuing a goal gives us a foundation to lean on when motivation feels low. Imagine you're working on a project at work. If your only motivation is to meet a deadline, it might feel like a grind. But if you remind yourself that completing the project could improve your skills, advance your career, or benefit others, it adds a sense of purpose. This purpose then becomes the anchor, allowing you to push forward even on days when motivation wanes. By defining a meaningful why, you create an inner drive that helps you stay engaged with your goals. Another factor in sustaining motivation is breaking down big goals into smaller, achievable milestones. Large goals can feel overwhelming, and the sheer scale of them can be demotivating. But when we break them into smaller parts, we create a series of manageable steps that are easier to accomplish and celebrate along the way. Take John, for example, who set out to write a book. The idea of writing several hundred pages felt daunting, and he struggled to stay motivated. But when he set smaller milestones, writing just 1 page a day, his motivation grew. Each completed page was a small victory that reinforced his progress. And before long, he had the momentum to keep going. By focusing on 1 page at a time, he turned a massive goal into a series of achievable steps, which kept him moving forward. It's also helpful to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Acknowledging each step you take toward your goal is a way of reinforcing your commitment and boosting your morale. When we celebrate, we give ourselves a dose of positive reinforcement, reminding ourselves that we're on the right path. These small celebrations don't have to be elaborate. They could be as simple as giving yourself a few minutes to relax, treating yourself to something enjoyable, or even sharing your success with a friend. Celebrating helps you build a habit of recognizing progress, which in turn fuels your motivation to keep going. A strong support system can also play a significant role in sustaining motivation. When you surround yourself with people who encourage and believe in you, their positive influence can help you stay motivated even during difficult times. Support can come from family, friends, mentors, or even online communities with shared interests. These connections provide a sense of accountability and remind you that you're not alone in your journey. Take Maria, a woman who wanted to transition into a new career field. The journey was challenging, but she joined a group of like-minded people who were also navigating similar career shifts. Whenever she faced doubts, her group reminded her of her strengths, helping her regain motivation. Over time, she came to rely on this support as a source of strength, enabling her to stay motivated and make steady progress. Another technique for lasting motivation is visualization. When we vividly picture ourselves succeeding, our brain begins to see the goal as more attainable. Visualization not only helps clarify what success looks like, but also fosters a sense of excitement and anticipation. For instance, an athlete preparing for a competition might visualize themselves performing their best, which boosts their motivation and confidence. The same applies to any goal. By visualizing your own success, you give yourself a mental preview of the rewards awaiting you, which can rekindle motivation when it's needed most. The journey to lasting motivation is about blending purpose, progress, support, and visualization into a routine that keeps you aligned with your goals. Motivation isn't something we magically receive, it's something we cultivate through small, consistent actions. By setting meaningful goals, celebrating each step, leaning on a support network, and visualizing your success, you can build motivation that feels reliable and sustainable. As we close this chapter, take a moment to think about what fuels your motivation. What is one goal you're currently working toward, and why does it matter to you? Reflect on the smaller steps you can take to make progress, as well as how you might celebrate each milestone along the way. Remember, the journey is as meaningful as the destination, and with a foundation of lasting motivation, you're already moving in the right direction. Reflective question: what is one small step you can take today that aligns with your purpose and brings you closer to your goal? Chapter 3. The Power of Small Steps, Turning Intentions into Action. When we think of our biggest goals, it's natural to feel a surge of excitement and inspiration, but that initial enthusiasm can quickly give way to doubt. Big dreams, while inspiring, can also feel intimidating. How do you even start when the goal seems so far away? The answer lies in taking small, intentional steps. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal and builds the momentum needed to make lasting progress. In this chapter, we'll explore the incredible power of small steps and how they can turn our intentions into concrete actions. The beauty of small steps is that they're manageable. Unlike large tasks that might require hours of focus and energy, small steps can fit into almost any schedule, making it easier to start and, importantly, to keep going. Take Lisa, for example, who wanted to improve her financial situation. Initially, she felt overwhelmed by the idea of budgeting and saving a significant amount. But rather than focusing on the total amount she hoped to save, she decided to start by setting aside just a small amount each week. Over time, that small weekly contribution grew, and as she saw her savings build, she was motivated to continue. What started as a small action turned into a consistent habit that empowered her to reach her financial goals. This approach made the task of saving less daunting and more achievable. Small steps are also a powerful way to overcome procrastination. When a task feels large or complex, we're often tempted to put it off, waiting for the right time to tackle it. Breaking down the task into smaller steps reduces the intimidation factor, making it easier to start right away. Imagine Tom, who had been putting off writing a proposal for work because he dreaded the amount of research and organization it would require. Instead of attempting to finish the entire proposal in one sitting, he decided to dedicate just 15 minutes each day to gathering ideas and outlining his thoughts. Within a few days, he'd made significant progress, and by the end of 2 weeks, his proposal was nearly complete. By taking small steps, he avoided procrastination and accomplished his goal with ease. Another advantage of small steps is that they allow us to build momentum. Each small success reinforces our sense of progress and encourages us to keep going. Just as a snowball gains size and speed as it rolls down a hill, our actions become more impactful when we start small and build gradually. This momentum not only keeps us motivated, but also increases our confidence, reminding us that we're capable of reaching our goals. Let's look at Sam, who wanted to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Instead of attempting a drastic diet and intense exercise routine, he began by drinking more water and taking a short walk each day. These small actions quickly became part of his routine, and as he felt the benefits, he was inspired to add more healthy habits over time. Before he knew it, he had a full, sustainable routine that fit into his life effortlessly, all because he started with small steps. Small steps also help us develop resilience. When we take small actions, we're less likely to experience burnout or discouragement, which can happen when we take on too much at once. By pacing ourselves, we build a habit of consistency that can weather setbacks and challenges. Sarah, who wanted to learn a new language, illustrates this well. She initially struggled with the idea of committing to hours of study each week. Instead, she decided to spend just 10 minutes a day learning new vocabulary. Some days were more challenging than others, but the small commitment was manageable enough that she rarely skipped a day. Over time, those 10-minute sessions added up, and her language skills improved steadily. Even when she faced busier days, her habit was resilient because it was based on a small, manageable step. Perhaps one of the most powerful aspects of small steps is their ability to turn intentions into habits. Intentions alone don't change our lives, actions do. By committing to small, regular actions, we create a structure that transforms our goals into daily practices. Consider Alex, who wanted to reduce his screen time and spend more quality time with his family. Instead of cutting out screens entirely, he chose to set aside just 30 minutes each evening to engage in an activity with his family, whether it was playing a game, going for a walk, or simply having a conversation. As he maintained this habit, he noticed a shift in his relationships and found himself more present. His intention to be a more attentive family member became a tangible reality through the power of small, consistent actions. Starting small may feel slow, but it's incredibly effective. It's not about racing to the finish line, but about creating habits that support our goals and bring us closer to the life we want. Each small action is a building block, a step toward meaningful change. The most remarkable transformations don't come from a single grand gesture, but from the quiet, steady accumulation of small steps. Just like planting a seed, you may not see results right away, but with time, those small actions will yield growth and progress. Now, think about a goal you've been wanting to achieve. Instead of focusing on the entire goal, ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today that will bring me closer? Start with that one step and trust in the process. When you look back, you'll realize that each small step you took played a crucial role in creating the momentum, resilience, and success that ultimately brought your goal to life. Reflective question. What is one small action you can take today that will move you closer to your goal? How can you make this action simple enough to fit into your daily routine? Chapter 4: Mindful Consistency. Staying steady on the path. What does it mean to be consistent in our actions? And why is it so important in building successful habits? Consistency is the backbone of progress. It's what keeps us moving forward, even when enthusiasm dips or challenges arise. Imagine setting out to build a skill or reach a goal, only to work on it sporadically. It's like trying to grow a plant without watering it regularly. Without mindful consistency, even the best laid plans can falter. But with it, small efforts add up, eventually leading to meaningful, lasting change. One of the key aspects of mindful consistency is understanding that every action matters. Often, we view consistency as needing to make big, impressive efforts daily. But in reality, consistency is less about intensity and more about showing up, day after day, even if some days require less effort than others. Consider Leo, who wanted to improve his physical health but struggled with staying committed to an exercise routine. At first, he felt discouraged because he believed he had to spend an hour at the gym each day to make a difference. However, when he shifted his perspective and focused on just moving his body every day, whether through a short walk, a 10-minute stretch, or a full workout, he found it much easier to stay consistent. By showing up every day, he discovered that even smaller efforts contributed to his overall goal, and before long, his health and fitness improved steadily. Consistency also requires setting realistic expectations. Many of us start with ambitious goals, eager to see results quickly, but this eagerness can sometimes backfire. When results don't appear as fast as we'd like, it's easy to feel discouraged and give up. Mindful consistency means recognizing that growth takes time and allowing ourselves to progress at a sustainable pace. Take Anna, who wanted to learn a new language. Initially, she set a goal of studying for an hour every evening, but she found it difficult to maintain this schedule after the first few weeks. Instead of quitting, she adjusted her goal to studying for just 15 minutes a day. This manageable goal allowed her to be consistent without feeling overwhelmed, and over time, her language skills improved more steadily than if she had pushed herself to do too much all at once. The role of self-discipline is crucial in maintaining consistency, especially when faced with distractions or moments of low motivation. However, self-discipline doesn't mean forcing yourself to work against your will. It's more about gently guiding yourself to stay on track, even when the initial excitement wears off. Think of Daniel, who wanted to write a novel. He committed to writing for 20 minutes each morning. Some days he felt inspired, and the words flowed easily. Other days, he had to push himself to start. But he stayed consistent, reminding himself that each session brought him closer to his goal. By treating writing as a non-negotiable part of his day, he trained himself to overcome the daily temptation to skip it, eventually completing his novel. Daniel's consistency was a testament to the power of self-discipline, which helped him progress even on days when he felt uninspired. Mindful consistency also means recognizing and celebrating small milestones along the way. Success isn't an all-or-nothing journey. It's made up of countless small wins that each deserve acknowledgement. When we take the time to celebrate progress, even in modest ways, we reinforce our commitment to the path we're on. Jessica, who wanted to transition into a healthier lifestyle, practiced this by celebrating every healthy choice she made. Instead of focusing on an end goal, like losing a specific amount of weight, she celebrated each day she chose nutritious meals or completed her exercise routine. These small celebrations kept her motivated and reminded her that she was making progress, even if it was gradual. Celebrating each step made her journey enjoyable, and she became more consistent because she learned to enjoy the process, not just the result. A crucial part of staying consistent is to have a clear reason behind your efforts. When we understand why we're pursuing a goal, it strengthens our commitment and makes it easier to stay consistent even on difficult days. Imagine trying to practice an instrument just for the sake of doing it. The motivation might quickly fade. But if you're learning to play because you want to perform at a friend's wedding, that purpose can fuel your consistency. Purpose keeps us aligned with our goals, making the journey not only sustainable but also rewarding. Accountability can also strengthen consistency. When we share our goals with someone we trust or join a group with similar ambitions, we create an extra layer of commitment to ourselves and others. Think of Michael, who wanted to run a marathon. He found it difficult to stay consistent in his training on his own, so he joined a local running group. By surrounding himself with people who shared his goal, he gained a sense of accountability that motivated him to show up for each training session. Over time, the group became a source of encouragement, and Michael's commitment to his goal grew even stronger. He discovered that the support and camaraderie kept him consistent, even on days when he might have skipped a run if he were training alone. As we wrap up this chapter, remember that mindful consistency is about taking small, steady steps and trusting that they will lead you to your goal. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but each consistent action builds on the last, creating a foundation for lasting change. Instead of focusing on rapid results, focus on showing up each day and celebrating your progress. Consistency is less about the end goal and more about building a life where you're actively engaged in your growth journey. Reflect on one goal you're working toward. How can you commit to it consistently, even if it means taking smaller steps than you originally planned? Consider what small wins you can celebrate along the way to keep your motivation high. Remember, progress is made by those who stay steady on the path, even when the journey feels slow. Reflective question: what is one way you can practice mindful consistency in your life, and how can you celebrate each small step along the way? Chapter 5. Overcoming obstacles, turning setbacks into strength. Life has a way of testing our determination, especially when we're committed to making positive changes. No matter how well we plan or how motivated we feel, challenges will inevitably arise, and setbacks are part of every journey. However, setbacks don't have to derail our progress. In fact, they can be powerful tools for growth. When we learn to view obstacles as opportunities to strengthen our resolve and refine our habits, we turn challenges into stepping stones. This chapter explores how to reframe setbacks and use them to fuel our personal growth. One of the first steps in overcoming obstacles is to accept that setbacks are a natural part of any journey. Many people believe that a setback means they're failing or not meant to reach their goal. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Every successful person encounters obstacles. They're what makes success meaningful. Think about Chloe, who set out to build a morning meditation routine. For the first few weeks, she managed to meditate daily, but then a hectic work project disrupted her schedule, and she missed a few sessions. Initially, she felt disappointed and questioned her ability to stick with the habit. But after taking a step back, she realized that missing a few days didn't erase the progress she'd made. Chloe reminded herself why she started meditating and recommitted to her practice. This shift in perspective allowed her to see the setback as a temporary bump rather than a defeat, and she returned to her routine with renewed purpose. Reframing setbacks is a crucial skill when it comes to overcoming obstacles. Instead of viewing a setback as a failure, we can see it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Each obstacle has something to teach us, whether it's about our habits, our motivations, or areas where we need to strengthen our resilience. For example, Marcus wanted to build better eating habits, so he committed to cooking healthy meals at home. But after a long week at work, he found himself ordering takeout several nights in a row. Rather than feeling defeated, Marcus used this experience as a chance to reflect on what went wrong. He realized that on particularly busy days, he needed simpler meal options to stay consistent with his goals. Armed with this insight, Marcus adjusted his plan, incorporating quick and healthy recipes for those hectic nights. By reframing his setback as a learning opportunity, he was able to build a more realistic and sustainable habit. Another strategy for turning setbacks into strength is to practice self-compassion. Often, when we face obstacles, our inner critic jumps in, pointing out what we should have done differently. This kind of self-criticism can be discouraging and even lead to giving up. Instead, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding allows us to approach obstacles with a clearer mind and a stronger spirit. Imagine Sarah, who was working on her fitness goals. One weekend, she attended a family gathering and ended up skipping her workout and indulging in treats. Initially, she felt guilty and considered abandoning her plan. But instead of giving in to her inner critic, Sarah chose to be kind to herself. She reminded herself that one weekend didn't define her progress and that enjoying time with family was valuable too. By practicing self-compassion, Sarah was able to bounce back quickly, resuming her routine without guilt or self-doubt. Flexibility is also an essential part of overcoming obstacles. Often, we become so focused on our original plan that we forget there are multiple ways to reach our goal. Embracing flexibility allows us to adjust our approach when circumstances change, making it easier to stay on track. Take Liam, for instance, who set a goal to read one book a month. However, halfway through the month, his workload increased, and he had less time to read each day. Instead of abandoning his goal, Liam adjusted his plan. He switched from physical books to audiobooks, which allowed him to read while commuting or doing household chores. By being flexible with his approach, Liam was able to overcome the obstacle and continue pursuing his goal, demonstrating that there's often more than one path to success. Mindset plays a powerful role in how we handle obstacles. When we adopt a growth mindset, the belief that our abilities can be developed through effort and learning, we see setbacks as part of the process rather than roadblocks. This mindset shift helps us view challenges as valuable experiences that contribute to our growth. Consider Jenna, who wanted to improve her public speaking skills. During her first presentation, she made a few mistakes and felt embarrassed. Instead of avoiding public speaking afterward, Jenna chose to focus on what she could learn from the experience. She asked for feedback, practiced more, and soon saw significant improvement in her skills. By adopting a growth mindset, Jenna turned an initially discouraging experience into a stepping stone for growth. One of the most effective ways to overcome obstacles is to build a support system. Sharing your goals and challenges with others provides encouragement and accountability. Friends, family, mentors, or support groups can offer valuable perspectives, encouragement, and solutions when you're facing a setback. Take Carlos, who wanted to stick to a new workout routine. On days when he felt unmotivated, he reached out to a friend who was also working toward fitness goals. They became each other's accountability partners, offering support on tough days and celebrating small victories together. This support not only kept Carlos motivated but also helped him see obstacles as something he didn't have to face alone. As you encounter obstacles on your path to success, remember that they're opportunities for growth. Setbacks aren't failures, they're simply part of the journey. Each time you face a challenge, you have the chance to learn, adapt, and become stronger. Embrace the process with resilience and flexibility, trusting that every obstacle you overcome is a step closer to your goal. With self-compassion, a flexible approach, and the support of those around you, there's no obstacle too big to overcome. Reflective question: when faced with a setback, how can you practice self-compassion, reframe the experience, and adapt your approach to keep moving forward? Chapter 6: Growth through Reflection. Learning from every experience. How often do we pause to reflect on our journey? In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to rush from one goal to the next without taking the time to understand what we've learned along the way. Reflection is a powerful tool that allows us to gain insight from our experiences, learn from our successes and setbacks, and make more informed decisions moving forward. When we take time to reflect, we create space for growth. This chapter focuses on the importance of reflection as a vital part of personal development and how it can enhance our journey toward success. Reflection begins with self-awareness. This means paying attention to our actions, thoughts, and feelings, and understanding how they influence our choices. Self-awareness gives us a deeper understanding of our motivations, strengths, and areas where we can improve. Take Emma, for example, who struggled with managing her time effectively. She often felt overwhelmed and couldn't figure out why her to-do list kept growing. After setting aside a few moments to reflect, she realized that she was spending too much time on tasks that weren't aligned with her priorities. By becoming aware of this, she was able to adjust her approach, focusing her energy on what truly mattered. This simple act of self-reflection allowed Emma to make a positive change that helped her become more productive and focused. Reflection also helps us recognize patterns in our behavior. Often, we repeat certain habits or choices without understanding why, which can keep us stuck in cycles that don't serve us. By reflecting on our actions, we can identify these patterns and choose to break those that hinder our growth. Consider Jacob, who found himself procrastinating frequently, especially when starting new projects. When he took time to reflect, he realized that his procrastination stemmed from a fear of failure. By understanding this, he was able to address his fear, practicing self-compassion and breaking his projects into manageable steps. Reflection gave him the clarity he needed to shift his approach and make progress without letting fear hold him back. A valuable benefit of reflection is that it allows us to celebrate our achievements, no matter how small. In our pursuit of success, we often overlook the progress we've made. Reflection reminds us to acknowledge our growth, which boosts our confidence and motivation. Think about Mia, who set a goal to improve her physical fitness. Over time, she achieved small milestones, like running an extra mile or lifting a heavier weight, but she rarely paused to appreciate her progress. When she began taking a few moments each week to reflect on her achievements, she felt a renewed sense of pride and motivation. This acknowledgement of her efforts kept her motivated to continue working toward her goals. Celebrating progress, no matter how incremental, reinforces our commitment and makes the journey enjoyable. Reflection isn't limited to our personal experiences. It also allows us to learn from others. Observing and reflecting on the actions of those we admire can offer valuable insights that we can apply to our own lives. For instance, Lucas admired his mentor's ability to communicate effectively and lead a team with confidence. By reflecting on the specific actions and attitudes that made his mentor successful, Lucas was able to incorporate similar strategies into his own life. He started practicing active listening and being more intentional with his words, and gradually, he noticed improvements in his own communication skills. Learning from others' experiences is a powerful way to expand our perspective and grow. One of the most effective ways to incorporate reflection into our lives is through journaling. Writing down our thoughts and experiences can clarify our emotions, reveal insights, and help us track our progress over time. Journaling doesn't have to be a daily ritual. Even a few minutes a week can make a difference. For example, Sarah started a simple weekly habit of journaling on Sunday evenings. She would write about her week, noting her achievements, challenges, and any lessons she learned. Over time, this practice helped her see her journey more clearly, and she noticed recurring themes that allowed her to make intentional changes. Journaling became a tool for growth, giving her a safe space to reflect on her progress and set intentions for the future. Reflection also helps us approach challenges with a growth mindset. When we reflect on setbacks, we can see them as learning opportunities rather than failures. This shift in perspective encourages resilience and adaptability, allowing us to face future obstacles with confidence. For instance, David encountered a significant setback in his business, losing a major client due to a misunderstanding. At first, he felt disheartened, but after reflecting on the experience, he identified areas where his communication could improve. By reframing the setback as a learning experience, David was able to make changes that ultimately strengthened his business. Embracing challenges as learning opportunities turns setbacks into valuable stepping stones on the path to growth. A regular practice of reflection also fosters gratitude. When we take time to appreciate our journey and recognize the progress we've made, we naturally feel more grateful. Gratitude enhances our sense of fulfillment and reminds us of the positive aspects of our lives. For example, Jessica began a nightly habit of reflecting on 3 things she was grateful for each day. This simple practice shifted her focus from what was lacking to what she already had, fostering a greater sense of contentment. Gratitude, cultivated through reflection, enriches our lives and gives us the motivation to keep moving forward. Reflection doesn't require a significant time investment. Even a few minutes can have a meaningful impact. The key is to make it a regular part of your routine. Whether through journaling, meditating, or simply pausing to think about your day, reflection gives you the space to grow, learn, and appreciate your journey. It's about creating a habit of checking in with yourself asking questions like, "What went well today?" and "What can I learn from this experience?" As you incorporate reflection into your life, you'll likely find that you approach your goals with greater clarity and purpose. Each experience, whether positive or challenging, becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. Remember, reflection is a gift you give yourself, a way to understand where you are, celebrate how far you've come, and set intentions for where you're headed next. Reflective question. How can you start a regular practice of reflection to help you learn from your experiences and celebrate your progress? Chapter 7. Cultivating Self-Belief. The confidence to keep going. Have you ever noticed that the way you see yourself can shape your journey? Self-belief, or the confidence in your abilities and potential, is a crucial part of achieving any goal. Without it, every challenge feels larger, every setback feels more personal, and success seems further out of reach. But with a strong sense of self-belief, you're equipped to face obstacles with resilience and to pursue your dreams wholeheartedly. This chapter is all about cultivating self-belief as a foundation for your journey, empowering you to stay committed to your goals and continue moving forward. At its core, self-belief is about trusting that you're capable, even if you haven't reached your goal yet. This confidence isn't arrogance, it's a grounded understanding that you have the skills, or can develop the skills, to accomplish what you set out to do. Take Liam, for example. He dreamed of starting his own business, but often doubted whether he was capable of handling all the responsibilities involved. However, rather than letting his doubts stop him, he decided to trust in his ability to learn and grow. He began with small steps, seeking out information, building his skills, and networking with people who inspired him. Over time, each small success built his confidence, and he began to see himself as someone who could run a successful business. By believing in his potential, Liam turned his dream into a reality. One of the best ways to build self-belief is to look back at your past accomplishments, no matter how small they may seem. Often, we focus so much on our goals that we forget about the progress we've already made. Reflecting on these past achievements reminds us that we're capable of growth and success. For instance, Sarah wanted to improve her public speaking skills, but every time she imagined speaking in front of an audience, she felt anxious. One day, she decided to look back at other challenges she had overcome, like completing her college degree while working part-time. She realized that she had developed skills, resilience, and confidence through that experience, even if it wasn't directly related to public speaking. This reflection reminded her that she was capable of tackling challenges, which gave her the courage to practice speaking in front of small groups. With each successful presentation, her confidence grew, and she became more comfortable speaking publicly. Another key to cultivating self-belief is to embrace the process of growth rather than fixating solely on the end goal. When we expect instant results, we set ourselves up for disappointment, which can erode our confidence. But when we see growth as a journey, we're more likely to appreciate our progress along the way. Take Marcus, who wanted to learn a new language. At first, he struggled with pronunciation and vocabulary, which made him feel self-conscious and doubtful. But he chose to focus on learning one new phrase each day, rather than trying to become fluent overnight. By celebrating these small steps, Marcus saw evidence of his improvement, and his self-belief grew as he progressed at his own pace. Focusing on growth rather than perfection kept him motivated and confident in his ability to succeed. Self-belief is also strengthened when we surround ourselves with positive influences. The people we spend time with have a significant impact on our mindset, so it's essential to build a support system that uplifts and encourages us. Imagine a musician like Nina, who was passionate about songwriting but doubted her talents. When she shared her songs with supportive friends, they encouraged her to continue developing her skills and to perform at local events. Their belief in her abilities helped her see her own potential, which motivated her to keep writing and performing. By surrounding herself with people who supported her dreams, Nina found the courage to pursue her passion. Positive influences remind us of our worth and help us stay grounded in our abilities, even when doubts arise. It's important to recognize and challenge any limiting beliefs we may have about ourselves. Limiting beliefs are those negative thoughts that make us feel incapable or unworthy, often stemming from past experiences or fears of failure. These beliefs can hold us back, creating self-doubt that prevents us from reaching our full potential. Take Alex, who struggled with a limiting belief that he wasn't smart enough to pursue a graduate degree. This belief had lingered since a teacher once told him he wouldn't excel in school. One day, he decided to challenge this belief by taking a small course in a subject he enjoyed. To his surprise, he excelled, and this experience showed him that his old belief was unfounded. By challenging this limiting belief, Alex opened the door to new possibilities, eventually applying to and thriving in a graduate program. Letting go of these self-imposed limitations empowers us to embrace our full potential. Visualization is another effective tool for building self-belief. When we vividly imagine ourselves succeeding, our brain starts to believe that success is possible. For example, before a big presentation, Emily would spend a few minutes visualizing herself speaking confidently and connecting with the audience. By mentally rehearsing her success, she began to feel more capable and prepared. Visualization helps align our thoughts with our goals, creating a mental picture of ourselves achieving what we set out to do. This practice strengthens self-belief by making our dreams feel more attainable. To cultivate self-belief, it's also helpful to acknowledge and celebrate small wins along the way. Success doesn't always look like big achievements. Often, it's a collection of small victories that build up over time. Take Jason, who wanted to develop a healthier lifestyle. Instead of focusing solely on losing a certain amount of weight, he celebrated each healthy meal he prepared and each workout he completed. These small wins reminded him that he was making progress, boosting his confidence and reinforcing his self-belief. By celebrating these steps, he stayed motivated and continued working toward his overall goal. Cultivating self-belief doesn't mean you'll never face doubts. It's about building a foundation of confidence that can support you, even during challenging times. Remember, self-belief grows through action. Each small step you take toward your goal strengthens your confidence and reinforces your ability to succeed. Embrace the journey, surround yourself with supportive influences, and remind yourself of your progress. When you believe in yourself, you unlock the potential to achieve things you once thought were out of reach. What is one small step you can take today to build your self-belief, and how can you celebrate that step as part of your growth journey? Chapter 8: Creating an Environment for Success, Surroundings that Inspire. Our surroundings play a powerful role in shaping our behaviors, attitudes, and even our sense of possibility. Just as a plant thrives in fertile soil, the right environment can help us grow and reach our fullest potential. But how often do we think about whether our environment supports or hinders our goals? This chapter explores the impact of creating an environment that inspires and motivates us, making it easier to stay on track with our aspirations and feel energized about the journey ahead. A supportive environment doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentional choices that align with our goals. These choices might involve adjusting our physical surroundings, reshaping our daily routines, or surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and encourage us. Let's consider an example. Tom, an aspiring writer, struggled to stay focused in his cluttered workspace. He often felt distracted and uninspired. Recognizing the importance of his environment, he made a few changes, clearing his desk, adding a small plant, and hanging a few inspiring quotes. These small adjustments transformed his workspace into a place that encouraged his creativity. Soon, he found himself more motivated to write, and his productivity increased. By creating a supportive environment, Tom set the stage for success. Our environment also includes the people we surround ourselves with. The attitudes, energy, and habits of others can significantly impact our mindset and motivation. Surrounding yourself with supportive, goal-oriented people helps you stay focused and positive. Imagine Rachel, who wanted to adopt healthier habits, but found it difficult because her social circle often encouraged unhealthy choices. She decided to seek out a local fitness class, where she met others who shared her goal of living a healthier lifestyle. The positive influence of this new group helped Rachel stay motivated, and over time, her healthy choices became part of her daily routine. When our environment includes people who support and understand our goals, it's easier to stay on track and avoid distractions. Another key aspect of a supportive environment is reducing temptations and distractions that don't align with our goals. It's much easier to stick to our intentions when we remove the things that might pull us off course. Take Lisa, who was determined to spend less time on social media and more time reading. She realized that having her phone nearby made it tempting to check notifications, so she decided to keep her phone in a different room while reading. This small adjustment helped her stay focused on her goal, and she soon found herself spending more time immersed in books. By managing her environment to minimize distractions, Lisa made it easier to develop a positive habit. Our physical environment can also serve as a source of motivation by incorporating visual reminders of our goals. Vision boards, inspirational quotes, and meaningful objects can act as constant prompts that keep us connected to our aspirations. For instance, David, who was saving for his first home, created a vision board with pictures of houses and home decor that inspired him. Every time he looked at it, he felt motivated to stay committed to his savings plan. These visual cues helped him remember his why and strengthened his commitment to his goal. Visual reminders provide an anchor, connecting us to our purpose and encouraging us to keep moving forward. It's also valuable to incorporate routines and habits into our environment that align with our goals. Our habits shape our daily lives, and when they're tied to specific environments, they become easier to maintain. Imagine Lucy, who wanted to develop a morning yoga practice. She found it challenging to get started until she placed her yoga mat in a visible spot each night before bed. This simple routine made it easier to get up and start her practice each morning. By setting up her environment to support her habit, Lucy created a consistent routine that became part of her day. Routines help automate our actions, reducing the need for constant decision-making and helping us stay committed. Creating an environment for success also means eliminating or managing elements that don't support our well-being. For many, this could mean setting boundaries with work or social obligations that drain energy or create stress. Let's look at Alex, who was working toward a professional certification. He found it difficult to focus on his studies because he frequently took on extra tasks at work. After reflecting on his priorities, Alex decided to set boundaries with his time, politely declining non-essential tasks to create space for his studies. By managing his environment and prioritizing his goals, he was able to focus on what truly mattered. An environment that inspires success doesn't have to be elaborate. It simply needs to be intentional. Whether it's arranging a tidy workspace, spending time with people who encourage growth, or establishing daily routines, each element we choose to include or remove from our environment contributes to our success. These intentional choices act as daily reminders that we're committed to our goals, making it easier to stay motivated and engaged. As we wrap up this chapter, consider how you might create an environment that supports your own goals. Reflect on your physical surroundings, the people you spend time with, and the habits and routines that make up your day. Remember, every small change you make to create a supportive environment brings you closer to your dreams. Reflective question: what is one change you can make in your environment today to support your goals and create a space that inspires you? Chapter 9. Celebrating Progress. Recognizing and Rewarding Wins. How often do we pause to recognize our progress on the journey to achieving our goals? In our eagerness to reach the finish line, we can overlook the small victories that make up the path to success. Celebrating progress is essential, not only because it fuels our motivation, but also because it reminds us that we are moving forward, step by step. Each win, big or small, deserves acknowledgement, as it represents a commitment to growth and resilience. This chapter emphasizes the importance of recognizing progress and offers ways to celebrate each step toward our goals. When we celebrate progress, we reinforce the positive behaviors that lead to growth. Imagine Susan, who set out to write a novel. Initially, her goal felt overwhelming, and she often doubted whether she would ever complete it. However, she decided to celebrate each chapter she finished, treating herself to something simple, like her favorite coffee or an evening walk. These small rewards kept her motivated and reminded her of the progress she was making. By recognizing each chapter as a win, Susan kept her spirits high, eventually completing her novel. Celebrating progress turned her journey into a series of rewarding experiences rather than a single daunting goal. Acknowledging progress also boosts our self-esteem and reinforces our commitment to our goals. Often, we tend to be critical of ourselves, focusing more on what we haven't achieved than on what we have. By shifting our perspective to celebrate wins, we build a positive self-image and strengthen our confidence. Take David, who was working on a personal fitness goal. At first, he compared himself to others and felt discouraged, but when he started celebrating his own milestones, like lifting a bit more weight or running a little farther, he began to feel proud of his progress. Focusing on his unique journey allowed him to appreciate his achievements without comparison, making his goal more enjoyable and meaningful. Celebrating progress doesn't require elaborate rewards. Even small gestures can make a difference. These rewards serve as reminders that our efforts matter, no matter the size of the accomplishment. For instance, Anna, who was studying for a challenging certification exam, broke down her study goals into manageable sections. Each time she completed a section, she allowed herself a small treat, like listening to her favorite music or enjoying a favorite snack. These moments of celebration kept her motivated throughout her study period, helping her stay consistent and positive about her progress. Celebrations can be as simple as acknowledging a job well done, and these small acts of recognition add up, encouraging us to keep going. Celebrating progress also helps us maintain a growth mindset. When we take time to recognize the steps we've taken, we're reminded that success is a journey rather than a destination. This perspective keeps us open to learning, and it encourages us to embrace challenges as part of the process. Take James, for example, who started his own business. He faced many challenges along the way, from managing finances to marketing his products. Instead of feeling defeated by each setback, James chose to celebrate each small success, like completing a project or receiving positive feedback from clients. This growth-focused mindset kept him motivated and resilient, allowing him to learn from his experiences and stay committed to his vision. It's also helpful to share our progress with others, as doing so adds a layer of accountability and encouragement. Sharing our wins with friends, family, or mentors not only gives us a sense of pride, but also inspires others to support our journey. Consider Rachel, who set a goal to run her first half marathon. Each week, she shared her training progress with a close friend, celebrating milestones like increasing her running distance or improving her pace. Her friend's encouragement became an extra source of motivation, and Rachel found that celebrating her progress with someone who believed in her made her journey feel even more rewarding. Sharing our progress creates a positive feedback loop, reinforcing our commitment and strengthening our self-belief. Celebrating progress also reminds us to enjoy the journey itself, rather than focusing solely on the end goal. When we find joy in each step, the process becomes more fulfilling, and we're less likely to feel burned out. Let's consider Sam, who was learning to play the guitar. At first, he was solely focused on mastering a few complex songs, but he quickly became frustrated with his slow progress. After deciding to celebrate small achievements, like learning a new chord or successfully playing a simple tune, he began to enjoy the process more. Each win, no matter how small, brought him joy and kept him excited about his practice. Celebrating progress helped Sam appreciate the journey of learning, making his goal more sustainable and enjoyable. Finally, celebrating progress can help us stay grounded in gratitude. Recognizing our achievements allows us to appreciate how far we've come and builds a sense of fulfillment. When we celebrate, we practice gratitude for our efforts and the lessons we've learned, enhancing our sense of purpose. For instance, Chloe, who wanted to improve her mental well-being, kept a gratitude journal. Each day she noted one thing she accomplished, no matter how small. This practice helped her recognize the positive aspects of her journey, reinforcing her commitment to her personal growth and creating a more positive outlook on life. Celebrating our progress reminds us to be thankful for the steps we've taken, fostering a sense of joy and contentment. As you work toward your goals, remember that each step deserves acknowledgement. Celebrating progress is about creating a positive, fulfilling journey where every effort counts. Success isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about appreciating the path you've taken to get there. By recognizing and rewarding each win, you build the confidence, motivation, and joy needed to keep going, making your journey a rewarding experience in itself. Reflective question: how can you start celebrating the small wins in your journey? And what simple reward or acknowledgement will keep you motivated to continue? Chapter 10: Sustaining Success, Making Positive Habits a Way of Life. Reaching a goal is a powerful moment, but the journey doesn't end there. True success lies in making positive habits part of who we are, so that growth continues and we feel fulfilled long after achieving our initial goals. This chapter focuses on sustaining success by turning positive habits into a way of life, creating a foundation for ongoing growth and resilience. When we integrate our habits deeply into our lives, we create a lasting source of strength and purpose that carries us forward. Sustaining success begins with consistency. It's easy to maintain habits when we're motivated by a clear goal, but once we reach that goal, the motivation can fade. By focusing on consistency, we shift our mindset from short-term achievements to long-term stability. Take Jessica, who had a goal to complete a 10K run. After her successful race, she found herself skipping her usual runs, unsure of what to work toward next. To keep her fitness routine going, she set a new intention: not another race, but simply the goal of running 3 times a week for enjoyment and well-being. This shift in focus allowed her to maintain her habit without needing a specific endpoint, turning running into a sustainable part of her lifestyle. Making positive habits sustainable also involves keeping our routines enjoyable. When we genuinely enjoy the actions that support our growth, they become easier to maintain. Consider Tom, who was committed to cooking healthy meals. Initially, he saw it as a chore, something he had to do to stay healthy. But as he began experimenting with new recipes and discovering foods he enjoyed, cooking became a hobby rather than a task. By making his healthy habit fun and satisfying, Tom created a lifestyle he looked forward to rather than one he felt obligated to maintain. Enjoyment is a key factor in sustaining success, as it turns habits into lasting sources of joy and fulfillment. Another way to sustain success is by remaining adaptable. Life is unpredictable, and rigid habits can sometimes lead to frustration when circumstances change. Instead of sticking to habits in a strict way, we can adjust them to fit our current needs and routines. Take Sarah, who developed a habit of daily journaling to support her mental health. When her work schedule changed, she found it difficult to sit down and write every evening as she had before. Rather than giving up on the habit, she adapted by writing just a few lines in the morning instead. This flexibility allowed her to maintain her habit without feeling overwhelmed, and it helped her stay connected to her personal growth goals. Staying connected to our why also plays a crucial role in making habits sustainable. When we understand the deeper reasons behind our actions, we're more likely to stick with them even when the initial excitement fades. Think of Daniel, who had set a goal to learn a new language so he could communicate with his grandparents in their native tongue. Once he became conversational, he started to lose motivation to continue studying. But by reminding himself of his deeper purpose, connecting with family and preserving their heritage, he found renewed inspiration to keep learning. Revisiting our why can rekindle our commitment, helping us view our habits as meaningful parts of our lives. It's also essential to recognize that sustaining success is a journey in itself, one that may involve challenges along the way. Some days may feel effortless, while others require more effort. Embracing this ebb and flow without judgment allows us to move forward without feeling discouraged by occasional setbacks. Consider Rachel, who had developed a habit of meditation to manage stress. Some days, she felt deeply connected during her practice, while other days, her mind wandered more easily. Instead of feeling disappointed on the harder days, Rachel reminded herself that each practice mattered, regardless of how it felt in the moment. By approaching her journey with acceptance, she was able to sustain her practice without self-criticism. Celebrating small moments of success can also help us maintain our habits over time. When we acknowledge and appreciate our progress, we reinforce the positive impact our habits have on our lives. For example, Liam, who committed to reading every day to expand his knowledge, took a few moments each week to reflect on the books he had finished and the insights he gained. This simple practice reminded him of the value his reading habit brought to his life, reinforcing his motivation to keep going. Celebrating our journey, no matter how small the wins, reminds us of the impact our habits have on our well-being. Sustaining success also involves giving ourselves permission to evolve. Our goals and priorities may shift over time, and allowing ourselves to adapt our habits to align with new directions is essential for lasting growth. Let's look at Maya, who initially started working out to improve her physical health. Over time, she found that she wanted to focus more on mental clarity and balance, so she began incorporating yoga and meditation into her routine. By embracing change and staying open to new forms of growth, Maya created a sustainable lifestyle that supported her evolving needs. Finally, one of the most powerful ways to sustain success is by sharing it with others. When we share our journey, we not only inspire those around us, but also reinforce our commitment to our habits. Alex, who built a habit of daily gratitude journaling, found that sharing his reflections with a close friend deepened his practice. His friends started a similar habit, and they often exchanged messages about what they were grateful for. This mutual encouragement made the habit more meaningful and gave Alex a sense of accountability. Sharing our habits with others creates a support network that strengthens our resolve and reminds us of the positive impact our habits have on our lives. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that sustaining success is about creating a foundation of habits that uplift and support us every day. It's about making choices that align with our values, celebrating each step, and adapting as we grow. Success isn't a destination, it's a way of living, one built on small, meaningful actions that nourish our well-being and fuel our dreams. Reflective question: how can you make your positive habits a lasting part of your life? And what simple action can you take today to keep moving forward? Throughout this book, we've explored the steps to building a life centered around growth, resilience, and purpose. From setting meaningful goals and embracing small steps to cultivating self-belief, overcoming obstacles, and creating environments that inspire, each chapter has provided insights and tools to help you transform positive habits into lasting success. By celebrating progress and staying connected to our why, we can maintain the momentum needed to sustain these habits over time. Remember, growth is a journey, not a destination, and every small action counts. Thank you for joining me on this path toward a fulfilling, intentional life. If you enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more insights on personal growth and success. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring more valuable content to you. Keep pushing forward. You're well on your way to creating the life you envision.